He's the starting quarterback this year for the Lafayette Leopards, Andrew Shoop, and that has to be a good sound to you because that hasn't been the case the last few years. Guys coming in and not quite sure who is going to be the starter.
Right, it's definitely an honor. It's one of those things where I gained some valuable experience last year, and hopefully we can transition that into this year with some personal and some team success.
Speaking of an honor, it certainly has to be an honor to be a co-captain on this football team.
No question, no question. Darius, Rick, and myself took that responsibility on head on, and we really we took it to be an honor as far as our teammates voting for us and our coaches instilling that type of trust in us to make us captains. And I'm looking forward to being able to set forth an example along with Rick and Darius and the rest of the senior class to on and off the field. We really have been working hard as a unit and really making some steps forward this summer.
Talk about that offensive unit. We know the offensive line had some injuries during the preseason. I think things are probably a little bit better health-wise, but certainly not the way everybody wanted it to be. How's the offense look like as far as the offensive line in the backfield is concerned?
Well, my offensive line, I have faith in any five guys that line up in front of me. I think those guys have been taking, a lot of steps forward. And it's one of those scenarios where injuries or not, guys are going to step in and guys are going to try and do the best that they possibly can to make an impact on the field. And with Lucha Alonzo stepping up last year as a true freshman and starting all 11 games for us, and with Pat Crosby coming back at center, and we have Brad Borman coming back at guard. We still have a couple spots that are uncertain left on the offensive line, but with that core group of guys leading the group up front, I think that charge is going to be a good one. And with the backfield, we have a plethora of talent. With Ross coming back as a a rookie of the year last year, and Vaughn and Allen and Marcellus Irving coming on after a knee injury last year. I think we definitely have a lot of talent back there waiting for some people to see, and our receiving core, same thing. We got guys lining up that are going to be young and unproven, but guys nonetheless that I think that are going to go out and make some plays for us.
You're a very emotional football player. We're at the Patriot League Media Day, and the Leopards are not picked to finish very high in the Patriot League this season. I imagine that gets under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, it does. As a competitor and as a football player, you always like to think that you're in a good position to win, and I think that regardless of where we are picked right now, I definitely think Lafayette has the ability to surprise some people. We over the last 2 years, 6-16 is not the standard that I know that the Lafayette community, Coach T, and our staff and our team has come to expect over the last few years. And we're definitely going to take that selection near the bottom with a grain of salt and use that as a driving force to go out and just win every single day, whether it's practice or game day, and understand that fifth isn't where we want to end up. We want to end up right at the top of the board, and that's where we all expect to be. So being picked at the bottom does obviously get to you a little bit, but it's one of those things where you just got to move on and understand that preseason polls mean nothing. It's all about what you go out and do every single Saturday, and after the 11 weeks is all said and done, we'll see where we end up.
Sure sounds like a guy you'd want to listen to in the huddle. He's the co-captain and starting quarterback, Andrew Shoop.